Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening everyone. A man in his 20s has died after his car slid off a road at New Norfolk and crashed into a tree. It's the second life claimed on the state's roads this week.
Emergency services on the scene of a single vehicle accident at New Norfolk this afternoon. Called to the location at Glenfern Road shortly before midday.
Police attended quickly as they possibly could, only to determine that a single occupant was deceased at the scene.
The vehicle's occupant, a young male, believed to be in his mid-20s. Police arriving at the scene to find the red Mazda sedan resting on its side in bushland along the rural road.
As you can see, it's a gravel road, so the driver was negotiating a right-hand turn. The vehicles slid off the road and got over an embankment, and the roof cavity of the vehicle was being crushed by a tree.
Glenfern Road remained closed for several hours while crash investigators worked to understand what may have caused the car to leave the road. Contributing factors such as speed, inattention and road and weather conditions are being examined.
We'll have to call in a tow truck to get the vehicle out before we can do anything. As I've indicated, it's down over an embankment and it's tied up against a tree, so before we can determine anything at all, we've got to get the vehicle out from where it is, and that will take quite some time.
Police are urging anybody with information or dashcam footage of the accident to contact Crime Stoppers. A report is being prepared for the coroner. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
After spending 2 freezing nights stuck at Cradle Mountain, 3 injured hikers from India were finally evacuated from the overland track this morning. Efforts to retrieve the man and 2 women were hampered due to harsh winds and snow, forcing the Westpac rescue helicopter to ground several times yesterday. The walkers were transported to the Launceston General Hospital, suffering from hypothermia. Police say it's a timely reminder to be prepared if walking in wilderness, as weather conditions can rapidly change and deteriorate. The Corrections Minister has once again been greeted by frustrated Westbury residents protesting against the Northern Prison. Elise Archer held the first of 3 one-on-one consultations with locals about the proposed site.
I'm interested in genuine consultation with them to hear their concerns, and obviously it's a critical component of the Northern Regional Prison project.
But some are still not convinced the Minister is listening.
We're not sure much is going to come out of these sessions. That's why we have to be out here. We think doing this what we're doing here and protesting against this as loudly as we can. We wanted a public meeting that the Minister would attend, and she's coming to one that she's organising. That's not quite the same thing as coming to face the people who want to really talk to her about this.
Further face-to-face sessions will be held next week, with a public meeting to also take place in the Westbury Town Hall on December 16. A community plight to help a stranded whale in the River Derwent came to an end this morning after the mammal sadly died. Wildlife authorities spent the night trying to push the whale out to shore, but believe it may have been unwell. Our reporter Ruby Kamain has this report.
A female pilot whale was found stranded 3 times along the River Derwent, but eventually met a tragic end. The mammal was first discovered yesterday evening in the shallows of Kingston Beach. A large crowd of local residents flocked to the site, with many helping staff from the Marine Conservation Program. Rescuers worked through the night to try and refloat the whale on the incoming tide and successfully guided it offshore at around 3 a.m. The pilot whale was then spotted on the other side of the river in Opossum Bay a few hours later and guided off again by residents. And then again at 9:30 further down on Fort Beach at South Arm, where it was discovered the lone animal had died. A spokesperson from the Department of Primary Industry said pilot whales usually travel in pods and that it's unusual to find one on its own in the River Derwent. Initial investigations have indicated the mammal may have been unwell. Authorities have spent all afternoon trying to remove the carcass from the water in a bid to determine a cause of death.
Meanwhile, crews are continuing to fight a large bushfire burning on the state's east coast. The blaze has destroyed almost 2,000 hectares of bushland at Swansea since it ignited on Monday. The McNeil's Road fire is around 1.5 kilometres from the nearest homes and is currently at advice level. Residents are urged to have their survival plans ready in case conditions worsen over the coming days. Labor has fired back at new regulations which could see Tasmanians fined thousands of dollars for emitting backyard smoke. Member for Bass Jennifer Houston says the fire pot tax is too harsh.
People sit around in their yards after they've had a barbecue or when they're having a party with fire pits and fire pots. And they could potentially be fined for these things giving off excess smoke just because they've put an extra bit of wood on it or they've just lit it.
But the state government says the laws are in place to deter pollution.
Nobody, if they're using fire pots and barbecues correctly, will be burning plastic. They will be cooking or using something for warmth. That will not breach the regulations.
The regulations came into effect in June. Thousands of outdoor enthusiasts have packed the streets in Launceston for this year's cycling festival. More than 200 competitors sweltered in the hot conditions as an underdog took out one of the event's biggest races.
It's been labelled one of the best one-day cycling events in Australia.
We've got riders that ride in the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia, that are racing down here today.
Some of the best in their field today weaving around the streets of Launceston for the drawcard cycling event. For one of the first times this summer, hats were a must, hot conditions treating spectators.
It's made for fantastic conditions, so the crowd have come out in force very early today, around about 8,000 people here, and they're enjoying some great racing.
Hundreds of competitors donned lycra, but not all were on two wheels. 14 hand-picked runners battling it out in the 5-kilometre dash, with Summer Dingermans becoming the first female to win the event.
I did it last year, so I sort of know, when the hard bits were, so I was trying to pace myself out pretty much the whole time.
While some tested themselves on the track, others preferred to be trackside.
They build it up well, they get good riders, and it's a good venue.
I'm an ex-bike rider myself, so I enjoyed the bike riding.
From fans to our next generation of cyclists.
I'd just come out and see, especially the elite blokes, they're at national level, which is really good to see them.
Have you been for a ride?
Yeah, not a race though. Too young to race it.
Organisers are hoping the strong turnout will allow the event's wheels to turn for many years to come.
Sport's supposed to be fun, so people can get out here, forget about everything that's going on in their lives for a few hours and just enjoy themselves and have fun.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
20 Tasmanian first responders have taken part in a simulated trauma training workshop today. Providing both theoretical and hands-on experience, participants learnt practical skills aimed to aid their response to real-life scenarios they face on a daily basis. Simulated scenarios including a serious car accident and major bleeding incidents.
Frontline responders in case of major incidents in their own communities. These are the people who are going to be going out, saving lives and making a difference.
And a lot of times you come across different scenarios, different things you may not have experienced before, so it requires teamwork, constant communication and intense focus to be able to do what we do.
The program was provided by CareFlight, which has run 6 workshops across the state over the past 2 weeks. A Tasmanian personal trainer aiming to complete more than 5,000 burpees in 24 hours to break a Guinness World Record has been successful in her goal. Lou Robertson hit her target at 5:20 a.m. and by 10 this morning had completed 5,700. Her record attempt is now under judge scrutiny, with an official confirmation due within 3 months. A century to Redbacks batsman Jake Weatherald has put the Tigers under pressure on the second day of its Sheffield Shield clash at Blunston Arena. The opener and wicketkeeper Alex Carey put on a 4th wicket partnership of 128 runs. Jackson Bird was the main destroyer for the Tasmanian bowlers, taking 4 wickets, while Gabe Bell also claimed 2 scalps. South Australia was bowled out for 346 just before the close of play. The North Melbourne Tasmanian Kangaroos have ended their 3-day community and training camp in the state with a match simulation at North Hobart Oval today. Part of their pre-season training, they worked on team building and showing off their skills for local fans.
Pre-season you've got the licence to try out new things and you're not going to get in trouble for mistakes. Coaches want the mistakes to happen so you can grow on that and do it in the proper games.
It's just 4 quarters of footy, testing out some structures and everything like that, so yeah, just a bit of fun.
The team returns to Tasmania in February for their second round match against the GWS Giants at UTAS Stadium. And the men's and women's champions of today's elite cycling events have been crowned at a ceremony in Launceston. Sarah Gigante crossed the line miles ahead of the other riders in the women's criterium, while in the Stand Shaker Classic, Cameron Ivory sprinted away from the pack to clinch back-to-back titles.
Evening, a mostly sunny day today across the state. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 19 degrees and 24 in Launceston. Ouse reached 22 today, 21 at Smithton, Friendly Beaches 20, King Island, St Helens, Lyowini and Flinders Island all 19, 18 at Strawn, Maria Island 17 and 16 degrees at the Harts Mountains and Low Head. A little low-level cloud seen here, mostly over the northeast today. High-level cloud is moving over the state from the west. A mid-level cloud band extends from WA into the Bight. Thunderstorms are situated over Queensland and the top end. The rest of the country was mostly cloud-free. Tomorrow a high is over the Tasman Sea and another over southern WA. A cold front lies to the west of Tasmania and a long trough is over central Australia, southern Queensland and WA. Winds 10 to 20 knots reaching 20 to 30 knots about the east and west, seas 1 to 2.5 metres. A strong wind warning is current for western and eastern coastal waters and a minor flood warning for the River Derwent. A hot day in Hobart tomorrow, partly cloudy and 31. Similar conditions for Ouse and 27 with a possible light shower for Dover. 28 in Launceston, partly cloudy. A cloudy day for Devonport, 21 and 26 and partly cloudy in Scottsdale. Burnie, cloudy, 20 degrees, 29 at Strawn, a light shower or two there, and Stanley, 19 and a partly cloudy day. St Helens, partly cloudy, 24, a possible light shower at Swansea, 28, and Ross, cloudy and 27. The UV is extreme 11s across the state tomorrow. Showers about the west and south on Tuesday in the morning, developing in the northeast during the afternoon. Wednesday showers about the north, then spreading to the west in the morning, possible showers elsewhere later in the day. And Thursday showers about the west, spreading statewide during the day. A sunny day in Perth and Brisbane tomorrow, 30 degrees, 29 in Adelaide, 38 for Melbourne, Canberra and Darwin both 36, Sydney 28 and 43 for Alice Springs. And right now it's partly cloudy across the state, Hobart 17, Launceston 20 and Devonport 16. And that's your Sunday night weather forecast, Tom.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Carmen. Well, that is all your news for now. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.